Hi again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Radio Northampton here on Channel 22 and our broadcast facilities in Northampton. I'm John Savastano, filling in for John Simmons, who's on vacation in Maine with his entire family, waiting for the 108-degree heat index on its way very soon. But anyway...
It's going to get hot, Johnny.
It's going to get hot. That being the voice of, as you can see, one Jimmy Dunn, our local hero...
How are you, buddy?
Comedian,
writer,
let's
go. Let's get them all. Comedian, producer, writer, author,
TV star,
former TV star, burger aficionado, pinball wizard,
cab driver.
There you go. You got them all. and dishwasher at the Sea Catch when I was 13. There you go. That's all.
That covers this. We always say we're trying to cover the seacoast here, and there's a good example.
I cover the seacoast well, my man.
Yeah,
you know that.
Yeah.
So do you, by the way.
Accomplished paddler.
I'll paddle.
We're going to do this with a New England little accent.
I'll do some paddling. I'll do some surfing. I'll whatever floats your boat.
By the way, also a Los Angeles area burger connoisseur.
Yes.
What else we know?
Yeah, I actually got a lot of heat from my top 5 burgers in LA list, and some people weren't happy, but I stand by it. In-N-Out is the best burger you can have, and there's thicker burgers, there's tastier burgers. They can fly in and beef from Japan, all that. But
Wagyu,
all that is wonderful.
In-N-Out's the place.
1:00 in the morning, an In-N-Out double with some fries and a shake.
Yeah, and especially if you have a lot of surf stickers on your car because you're a beach person. That's the only non-surfboard manufacturing sticker that would be
always on
In-N-Out on your bumper.
Yeah. That's an after surf thing in California for sure.
Yeah. All right, James.
All right,
we're
Johnny.
here on the podcast.
Yes.
I'm feeling good. You're feeling good. And
I'm feeling great, man. I'm home for a while.
Let's take a quick rundown of things that we wanted to talk about. How it all began.
Whew, all right. My mother went to Endicott College, and my dad was a townie and got drunk and went to a dance, and they met. And that's how it all began.
How's that
answer?
From a career perspective.
Oh, is that what I have, a career?
North or south,
honestly,
I don't know. But
the very first, the stand-up comedy thing started with me sitting in the back of a comedy club and seeing a guy who I didn't think was very funny getting paid to tell jokes. And I thought it was the biggest scam of all time. And it turns out it's right up there. It's a wonderful scam. And I figured out how to tell some jokes and got on stage in Gloucester, Massachusetts a long, long time ago.
Sounds fishy.
Worked my way up through the comedy ranks and done pretty much all of it at this point. I've been on television. I've written for television. I starred in a TV show. I did stand-up on the Letterman show. I did stand-up on Conan. And I go to Hollywood. I haven't got a place out in L.A., but I call the Seacoast still my home and love to come back home to New Hampshire. So that's it in a nutshell, man, if we got to do it quickly.
And following your exploits on Facebook and the news and everywhere, it's a great thing.
Instagram is great. You follow me on Instagram because you can see every meal that I eat. I'm that guy. I'm the guy taking it because I feel like a bad meal is a waste, and I enjoy them all.
Which will be a great segue into our next guest. We're going to talk about food, and the coolest place in town to eat.
And who's that?
That's Scott Aversano at the Airfield Cafe.
And I went last weekend. They just redid the place. They got the new one now with the planes flying around the ceiling, and the food is just as good, if not better. And you know me, man, I dig that place. Well, I'm there all the time.
I'll tell you, the morning they opened,
I
had a restless night that night. And I said, do I really want to get up at 6 o'clock? Maybe should I get in? Is there going to be a line? I got there at 10 to 7, and I wasn't first in line.
I just came back from Nantucket, and I did the comedy festival over there. And a couple of years ago, I got up at 5 in the morning and walked to this donut shop, this very Downy Flake donut, which is one of the best donuts around. And I walked over there, and I was there at 5:45 in the morning, and they're not even open yet. And I'm waiting in line to get donuts, and I went, I might have a problem.
Yeah. The last time I remember standing in line was for Bruins tickets when Bobby Orr was playing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Letterman.
Yeah.
It's probably taped at, 5 in the afternoon, 5:30 in the afternoon, something like that? Or?
Letterman was 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, okay. What were you like behind stage?
Super cool. I was, believe it or not, that was one of the easiest sets I've ever done because when you do Letterman, they audition you, they watch your material, they pick what you're going to do. And so my set was already vetted, and you can't not, I mean, unless you're Sam Kinison or something, you have to do that 6-minute set.
Yeah.
So I had rehearsed it. Once they gave me the okay on that 6-minute set, I had rehearsed it 30 or 40 times. Just as that 6-minute set, I was never more prepared for anything I've ever done than that night on the Letterman show. And when he introduced me and I went out and I took the stage, it was just, there was a moment you can see me looking around going, this is it, man. This is so cool. And that, to me, when I started doing stand-up, I wanted to be on, that's the Stanley Cup for a stand-up comic, you know.
Sure.
That was the standard that we all, you wanted to be a Letterman guy, and I pulled it off right before he went off the air, so.
Tremendous.
Yeah, it was cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he was only on for another
classic.
4 or 5 months, and so
Probably
I got in right under the wire, as I
Probably
always
didn't even
do.
have the beard yet.
No beard.
That's right. It was a regular Letterman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember working downtown one time, and I said in D.C. Well, I did that too, but in New York City, and I said I got to get over there and grab one of these shows, and it was just a whole video production setup is what I was
wild.
looking at, but it was really really wild.
Yeah, at the Ed Sullivan Theater, man, it's you get chills.
Yeah.
And one of the things when you do Letterman is you get to pick your play on music, and so in my head, I've had for 20 years, I was like, all right, please welcome Jimmy Dunn, and then Aerosmith.
Thunderstruck.
No, Aerosmith, Mama Kid, right? And I had that in my head forever. And at the last, what do you want for your play on music? I want Mama Kid, Aerosmith. Okay, great. Yeah. And then the last minute they call over and say it's 50th anniversary of the Beatles thing. So they're only doing Beatles music this week.
Nice.
So I had to pick a Beatles song, and I'm not a huge Beatles. I mean, I love the Beatles, but I'm not. In my head for 20 years, it was hey, I'm on Letterman, and instead it was it was still cool.
Well, Jim, we're gonna take a quick break for some community notes.
Yeah, we got it.
This being the Apollo 11 edition, it's mid-July.
Okay.
Of thank God we went to the moon when we did. The way things look around the planet now.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to put a comedy club up there, by the way, because it's just once we get up there, people are going to need something to do.
Well, Elon Musk is probably just Musk and Dunn weekdays at 7 on. Okay, we'll be right back after this. And we're back here on Radio Northampton with our guest, Jimmy Dunn. Jim, on a more serious note, just for a split second, your memories of John Martin. John, as everyone knows, wrote a book.
Yeah.
And in his foreword, dedicated to you and your book.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know John Martin.
It was kind of a forward, but it was also a dig. He said, look, I never thought I could write a book until I read Jimmy's, and then I said, I could do this. Yeah.
John's a former Nesson cameraman who worked every event. Was
one of my dear buddies.
That. And then, unfortunately, we lost John with ALS.
He got the ALS, and so Johnny was one of my dear friends. When I started working at Nesson, we just hit it off, and he's one of the funniest guys I ever met, man. He was just so funny. But all those iconic moments of the Red Sox and the Bruins that you've seen in the last 20 years, he shot most of that. He was in the locker room. He did all of that. He was in essence utility guy and just a master with a camera and just a really cool guy and became a dear, dear friend. And then, then he got ALS, and it was heartbreaking to watch what that does to people. So, love Johnny, and I can't go into Fenway without thinking about him, and just we had so much fun together.
Yeah, it's the same with a lot of people. I mean, I know that they're in the industry. Yeah, all the Nesson guys, everybody works together.
Everyone loves them.
You're on the sidelines of the Patriots games, and is all the guys that just kibitz, and they're all freezing cold. Matter of fact, I told one time that you're going to start looking into the thermal electric stuff that the surfers wear. Yeah, if you're going to stand at Gillette Stadium minus 20. They're buying it. Yeah. So I said, that's kind of cool. So anyway, John's book was called Waiting for Greatness.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Just memories of a cameraman, a sports television cameraman. Yeah. And it's great summer reading. It's in my beach bag, that's for sure. Yeah. And that's
he's a good dude, man, and it is a good beach read. Yeah. I'll tell you a great Johnny story. We were shooting this thing where I was doing comedy bits, obviously, and we were trying to rally the Sox, so I I did a bit on how to cork a bat, right? So I'm drilling out a bat in the dugout at Fenway, filling it with Super Balls, and we're in the morning there before anybody else is in. And so the money shot is I drop the bat and the Super Balls, they go bouncing down the stairs. Well, Johnny's lying on his stomach filming this, and as he films the Super Balls, and they roll right up, and they hit Terry Francona in the shins as he's coming out for his morning cup of coffee. And Johnny just looks up, the camera just goes up, and he goes, "Morning, Skip." And Francona's like, "Get this out of here." But he got away with stuff like that. That was the beauty of Johnny. He was just so funny. He was a cool dude, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, so I'll tell you what, speaking of funny,
Yeah.
the comedy festival's coming up in Hampton.
Yes.
You're running that show.
I am.
You got a great lineup. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so this is the 9th annual Hampton Beach Comedy Festival that I put together 9 years ago, obviously. And it started with, I went to another festival, and I said, why aren't we doing this in Hampton? I could have all my friends come up. But a lot of comedy festivals turn into sort of these industry things. This one is just me, my buddies, people that I personally find really funny. And it's started with one night. We've built it into 4 nights now. And so I have like 30 comedians from all around the country. We got a couple kids coming in from Detroit. People that I, through the year, I find funny and invite them up. We put on a tremendous show. It's really cheap for the show that it is. It's only $20 ticket. It's right at the Ashworth. We turned that into a really great comedy club for 4 nights. They're really cool. And it's great. And we get a lot of people that come all 4 nights. And it's a different show every night. And I love doing it. And then have my friends come up. They hang out at the house. We go swimming. We play at the beach. We do everything that you should do at Hampton Beach. Yeah. And then we wrap it up with a big comedy show. And it's a blast. I love this. It's a fun week.
Well, if you're familiar with sometimes with these baseball greats or hockey greats where you pay and you go in with the real guys and you actually get on the field or whatever.
You had a fantasy camp?
I've got one fantasy camp. That's good. Yeah. I'm going to a Mission Control fantasy camp in Houston.
Are you really?
No, I just made that up.
Oh, all right. I didn't know there was such a thing.
No. There probably will be if I call them.
I wouldn't. If there was, you would be there.
Well, they recently restored the entire original Mission Control. And a couple of nights ago on one of the shows commemorating the moon launch, Apollo 11, they had a rolling camera shot, row after row after row. There must have been 20 rows of analog and just computer setups where everybody was watching one valve. Right. Your job is to watch that light bulb because what were there, like 5 million parts? Anyway,
is there a point to this story, Johnny?
Parts is parts. The other point was I'm going to make sure I get back early and go to one of the nights at the comedy festival.
All right,
that's for sure.
Yeah, you're always down there. It's I love that too because it's not just for the tourists. It's great if you're visiting the beach, but the locals come down and it's have a lot of locals coming to these shows and they have fun, man. Yeah.
Jimmy Dunn's been our guest as usual. Jimmy, great to talk to you.
That's it. We're done.
I'm glad you could finally join us on our new vodcast. We're not sure what we are yet.
I don't know what it is either, but I just know I eat next door every day, so this wasn't too much out of my schedule.
Yeah. If you listen to it, it's radio. If you want to watch it, it's video. So anyway.
Yeah, you got no idea what you're doing.
Jim, we'll see you down the road. We'll see you at the comedy festival.
You got it, Johnny. Thanks, man.
Thanks, buddy. We'll be right back after some community notes right here on Radio Northampton. And we're back here on Radio Northampton. Special thanks to our first guest, Jim Dunn, of course, has the Hampton Beach Comedy Festival coming up. But beating him to the punch this July was Scott Aversano and the Airfield Cafe, who worked tirelessly to get the new digs open. And I got to tell you, it's the 8th wonder of the world. Scott, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
The process of changeover was amazing to me. Describe the trials and tribulations for a bit about that.
So the original hopes were to be open back in December. So normal construction always runs late. And we started getting into July, and I had to get open in order to get enough time to get through the winter. We are still a seasonal area. And so about the last month, my 2 kids and myself, my wife, my sister, we pretty much worked from 6 in the morning until about 11 at night, and pretty much did what everybody said we couldn't, and we got it pulled off. We closed July 3rd in the old building, got the occupancy permit from our awesome building inspector, and we moved everything that night, finished about 1:30 in the morning, and opened up the next morning in the new place. Everything seemed to go pretty smooth. Great group of kids that helped me out. My staff was amazing.
Yeah, that's it. You have a tremendous staff, a tremendous staff that's learning as well, and a big staff too, by the way. So if they didn't warm up your coffee 2 seconds ago, in 4 seconds they'll be back. That's basically what's going on over there. So the service is top notch. As we can see in some of the video that we've shot here, that the interior is phenomenal looking. It still has the reminiscence of a 30s early era exterior, but the comfort and the modern look and displays of the interior. I think one of the things that's really a kick is having that breakfast bar, which people might have thought, well, they didn't think about it at all. Almost, you look in and going, this is really cool. I only have time to come in for coffee and toast. Why take up a booth? I feel bad one person do it, right? Now you can sit at the bar, okay, and watch videos of Apollo 11 or whatever you want to do on there, and it's a great place to be.
Definitely a game changer for us. Something we always wanted. We didn't have the room in the old place. It allows people that come in, 1 or 2, that don't want to tie up a table. We had numerous people before that would come in, see that we didn't have a place for 1 or 2 people, and they'd leave. Yeah. Now this gives them the opportunity to get in and out. They can interact with the wait staff. You can see the kitchen. You can see what's going on back there. Great group of kids work with us. Incredibly lucky.
Just a customer, I've noticed myself, as I've been down there already maybe 5 or 6 times, the customer flow, you're right, they're more accepting now to, let's sit here in the lobby, we'll wait, things are going to transition, it's breakfast, it's not, a 9-course meal that someone's going to sit there for an hour or whatever, and let's grab a nice booth.
Yeah, the turnover now with the extra tables, extra chairs, bigger patio, definitely allows, the turnover is so much faster now. And we actually have a waiting area now that is heated and air conditioned, so you're not standing outside in the rain. The conveniences of having handicapped bathrooms. We got baby changing tables now. Like you said, the modern conveniences of today, but we still have that old feel, which is what we were shooting for. Yeah,
it's just a tremendous carryover, but we are in the new. Absolutely. As far as the clientele growing, I personally, from my thoughts are, it's just going to go. It's just going to take off. Any ideas down the road of longer hours or?
Nothing in the works yet. My 2 kids, they're still in college. So I've kind of talked to them that maybe when they finish school and they come on board full time, that might be something they may look into. Currently, we're doing great with what we've got. I don't want to burn out everybody. It's a hard business. The kids that I have work incredibly hard. Long hours. It's fast paced. The speed in that kitchen is just incredible. The amount of product that they're putting out and making sure they keep the good quality. They've all accepted that that's the important stuff. So,
well, it was a tremendous undertaking. It was an arduous, let's say, building process. And permission for this, permission of that. That's the way it goes, and you have to, I guess. But some of the other unique features I'd like to talk about when we come back. We're going to take this break right now, Scott, for some community notes, and we'll be back on Radio Northampton with Scott Aversano of the Airfield Cafe. And we're back here on Radio Northampton for the July edition, the Apollo 11 tradition, as we've been calling it, the edition, with, aptly enough, with our owner and proprietor of the Airfield Cafe here in town, the brand new, beautiful Airfield Cafe, Scotty Aversano. Scott, again, thanks for joining us. I wanted to talk a little bit about the fly-in crowd, how the nostalgia end of this story works and has worked in the past, where people are flying in. They're flying in more than ever now, okay, as a stop, having their breakfast, fueling up, and heading off on a day trip the way we would drive up the Maine coast or down, through the Kangamangas. These people are flying all over the place, but stopping for breakfast.
It's pretty cool. We've got one customer flies all the way out from New York just to have breakfast. Comes in, gets fuel. It is pretty amazing watching all these people travel from all over the place to come eat at our place.
Yeah.
It's great for the airfield because it introduces them to the fuel, maintenance. We've got a great flight school at Hampton Airfield. They do an awesome job there. We've put out so many commercial pilots out of that airfield. Something to actually be proud of for this area.
Yeah, and I also would like to thank the flight schools today for not flying overhead on approach while we're doing this show. It's been pretty quiet so far. But a little more serious note, and talking about tradition and the fly-ins and stuff, this all had to start with somebody and strong family values to just pursue not only a quality product, but to really stick with it and keep it in a family tradition. Tell us about your family and how it started.
So, John, it all started, a friend of ours who was a air traffic controller was friends with Mike and Cheryl Hart, who owned the airfield at the time. And we were actually babysitting his kids. And he came in and said, Hampton Airfield needs somebody to run the restaurant. Introduced my father to the Harts. And we took over. I got to tell you, so many days we sat there to make it work. My father didn't want for anything. He was one of those people that just worked for his kids. Family was everything. And fortunately, we got to work with him. I consider myself extremely lucky. I got to work with my father for almost 20 years side by side. We were best friends, not just...
I remember waving at him in the kitchen.
Yep. He was the most incredible person I can speak of. And my mother was cut from the same core. They helped us build it, and they did everything they did without anything benefiting them until we got to grow it to what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
My two sisters have worked with us. Teresa's still with me. My brother Joe worked with us for a while. So it's truly a family. Now we have myself, my sister, my two kids. My nephew worked with us. It's truly a family affair.
Yeah, and it's an extended family now because your wait staff plus the new. It's just a generational thing where it's almost a rite of passage to work at the Airfield Cafe if you live in this area.
Yeah,
and judging by obviously not only the clientele, everybody's so happy and who comes in. And if someone didn't ask you, do you want your coffee warmed up 2 seconds ago, someone will be along in the next 4 seconds to do that. They're very, very thorough and very well trained, and that's a testimony to you.
Thank you. Yeah, we work really hard to try to make sure that the customer is really satisfied.
Yeah.
It's really important to us. And that happy atmosphere, that we definitely push that. When I'm hiring, that's what I'm looking for. Upbeat, happy people. Some places prefer the harsher atmosphere, but that's not what we are. We're a family-friendly, for all generations, really, because we've got a little bit of everybody comes through our place.
Yeah, it's a comfort zone. It really, it's a, I'm finally here, put the phone down, flip it over. I don't want to hear anything or anything.
Yeah.
I just want my tall coffee and my order of Anadama toast.
Yeah, I got to say, too, John, one of the things that helped us was when we took over the restaurant, we had no money for advertising. We were just getting on our feet. And the crew from the airfield, the pilots that hang out there, really spread the word. It was word of mouth that got us going.
Yeah.
They did a phenomenal job. They treated us awesome. Great people.
Yeah.
We feel very lucky that we landed where we did.
Yeah, play on words.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. Of course, the place will be having its own tower and parking garage shortly. No, I'm only kidding. I'll tell you what, let's talk just quickly here about the construction. I've never seen, it's as much stainless steel in a fantastic, huge kitchen as I've ever seen anywhere.
Yeah, I got to say I was incredibly lucky. Our landlord, Todd Baker, allowed me to work with his architect and engineer. So I get to design what I wanted for a kitchen. We took care of the kitchen, so it was all on me. And I had some great help, some great advice, invested a lot of money into that kitchen. But I think it's paying off already. The cooks have the equipment they need. We actually put air conditioning in the kitchen. Everybody thought I was crazy, but work environment's important for me.
Correct.
My old kitchen used to get extremely hot. We'd actually put an extra person on.
Well, it has everything to do with retention of an employee and staff as it does out on the floor.
And you have to treat them right because they treat you right.
Yeah.
And I'm incredibly lucky. My staff is awesome.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
Well, lastly, let's talk about there's nowhere to go or there's nowhere to look but up. And if you're in the Airfield Cafe, if you look up, there are planes galore circling around your table. And that's thanks to John Backhouse and a few of his buddies who came up with the idea. Someone, I guess, saw it somewhere, recommended it, and they devised the system, MIT, same guys that got Apollo 11 to the moon, came up with this idea, and it's a tremendous idea. Actually, I have a couple of planes I'm not using hanging from the rafters up there, but let's talk about that just for a second.
Yeah, I got to say, Johnny and Sean, they did the install. They helped engineer it with the company. They actually did things that the company now is probably going to follow on the install. They found more accurate ways of installing it than even the company had. The company was out of Canada. They flew out. Johnny, my son, Sean, we all met together, engineered it, made sure it was what we wanted. It was quite the process.
Yeah.
John and Sean worked in the evenings when the contractors weren't in there to install it so that they had a nice clean atmosphere. Just did a phenomenal job. That track is as smooth as could be. I can't say enough.
Yeah. I noticed one of the aircraft I brought in was this giant Air Force fighter, which is a very narrow, almost like a missile. And that's the only one that has a little tip-that-you-do. Because it's so narrow, I go, had to be mine. Had to be mine.
Johnny thought it would look cool with a little angle to it.
So
he made sure to have that. We do have one backwards because it ties in with our logo on our airplane with the backwards flying guy.
And some inverted, which is pretty cool too, the acrobatic type of plane. So, by the way, if you have any planes that right now it's full, but a lot of these planes are active, actually. They still will fly in the radio control and such. So if you need to take it down or replace it eventually in time, you might be able to do that, and there might be a space. This would be one of those things like people waiting for Bruins season ticket holders or Patriots. It's going to take a while, but your plane will get up there. Who knows?
Definitely. If there is anybody interested, drop in, let us know. If it's something they need out of their way, I've got a huge basement. We can store it at the airfield, and that definitely will be happening.
Yeah. So that's excellent. Scott, I can't thank you enough for coming on. The place is phenomenal. A lot of us have been waiting for a long time. The airport is a great place to be. I often found it when everything's closed and you guys are gone and there's nobody flying, the wind comes through there and you can sit out there with your beach chair and just not hear a sound. The airfield is a great place to be.
It really is. With the new patio, you got a better view of the runway. It's a nice, relaxing place. Been there for 23 years now, and I got to say, I still love going to work. I don't really call it work because it's home.
It's a thing. It's a thing you do. And like we all do is we go there. So we enjoy it.
We appreciate you guys visiting us.
Scott, on behalf of us and the town, congratulations. It's another example of a great Northampton business, staying put and getting better.
Awesome.
And we hope everybody
Johnny,
can
thank you
follow
so
that
much.
example.
Thanks for supporting us all these years.
Oh, you're welcome.
Community's been awesome to us.
You're welcome. Scott, once again, thank you very much for filling us in on the new Airfield Cafe. And we'll be back to wrap up this edition of Radio Northampton after this. So that's our podcast for today on Radio Northampton. We'd like to thank our guests, Jimmy Dunn, Scott Aversano, and from the entire broadcast production team here at Channel 22, thanks again for watching and listening. We'll see you next time on Radio Northampton.